Before we dive into today's episode with Akhil Sarin, let's talk about Open Fortune, the innovative platform transforming an age-old tradition into a modern marketing powerhouse. Imagine your brand, wrapped inside a fortune cookie, delivered straight to millions of eager hands. Open Fortune partners with top brands to create unforgettable moments, blending creativity, nostalgia, and strategy in a way no one else can. So shout out Open Fortune for making this episode of Ice Gaming CMO Weekly possible. All right, welcome back to CMO Weekly. I'm super excited about this one. This is the podcast where we bring you the most visionary minds in marketing to uncover their journeys, strategies, and the groundbreaking ideas that shape industries worldwide. Today, we're thrilled to be joined by Akhil Sarin, the marketing powerhouse and chief marketing officer at Easygo, the tech engine behind globally recognized brands like Steak and Kick. Akhil's leadership has been instrumental in Steak's meteoric rise to global prominence as he's redefined what's possible in an industry known for its fierce competition. As a key member of the executive team, Akhil has been the architect of Steak's bold and innovative marketing vision. His strategies have consistently challenged the status quo, setting new standards for how brands connect with their audiences. Under his guidance, Steak has formed high-profile partnerships with global icons like the Steak F1 team, UFC, Drake, and Everton FC. These collabs didn't just amplify Steak's brands, they created immersive, unforgettable experiences for players, pushing the boundaries of what a brand partnership can achieve. Akhil's career is a masterclass in evolution. From running a digital marketing agency in his early 20s to earning an MBA in sport management, his journey has been defined by a relentless drive for innovation. His early exposure to the fast-paced world of sports marketing with the Australian Football League fueled his passion, eventually leading him to Steak in 2020. Rising rapidly from affiliate manager to CMO in just 2 years, Akhil built Steak's marketing team and functions from the ground up, all while driving explosive growth and spearheading the global brand strategy. I'm super excited, like I said, for this one. Akhil joining us, man. It's an honor to be with you today.
Same here, man. I don't think I can top that at all. I'm humbled by the introduction.
I mean, that was your introduction, not mine. So, yeah, I mean,
awesome.
it's amazing how much you've accomplished too, especially just like working your way up from affiliate manager to CMO, right? We were talking about this before, but how did you get that job, right?
Well, so it's quite an interesting story. At the time, as you mentioned, I was working for the AFL, which is, if you're non, it's the biggest sport, I would say, in Australia. So that's Australian Football League. I was running all their multicultural programs. COVID hit and then department shut. So I lost the job, as simple as that. And I was at home, I was exploring. I was not in a rush to get a role. I looked at a role called an affiliate manager. I knew what affiliates were because of my previous experience with digital marketing.
Yeah.
I thought I could do that role. And it seemed very interesting to me. But at the same time, I casually applied. So I used a LinkedIn Easy Apply.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it. I didn't bother to write a resume, a cover letter. I just thought, let's go for it. And I ended up landing the role. Turns out that I was the first person, like the first marketing person with Steak. And I'm talking 2020.
What did Steak look like in 2020?
So Steak, Easygo started in 2017. And before that, before Steak, we had a website called Prime Dice, where you could only play one game, which was a dice, like a die game.
Sure.
And post that, Steak launched in 2017. In 2020, Steak had Steak Originals, and that's about it. So if you compare it to now, it was a bare bones website. At the same time, we had already positioned ourselves to go into the market with an innovative product.
Correct. And when you're talking about like taking that move from affiliate manager to CMO, when you are that first marketing hire, right? Like I was here as well. What were your goals, right? What were you inheriting and what were you trying to achieve?
So the biggest thing there was a realization that I think in everyone's career there has to be, or for me at least, there was a realization. I was 23 at the time. I was super into technology, like new tech, basically someone who lives on the internet, right? And when I looked at Steak, the first thought in my mind was, I'm a young guy, 23, fully accessible, like have full access to the internet, but I don't even know that this product exists.
Okay.
And if I don't know this, that means majority of people don't.
Sure.
So how can I ensure that the world knows about, because the concept of being able to gamble online,
yeah,
for me,
especially with crypto.
Exactly. And again, I was someone who's in that space. So I'm like, how can I make this mainstream?
Yeah.
So my goal was I need to take this product, which is, for me, was impeccable already,
Sure.
and make sure that the world knows about this.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest goal for me.
And what did you do at first, right, to start educating consumers, knowing like, hey, they might not know anything?
Yes. So the first thing I did was I realized that the product itself is a product that you need to see to believe. Like you need to experience it firsthand.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? In traditional iGaming space, it was done through very basic banner advertising,
Yeah.
or affiliation, but
Sure.
there was no exposure, brand exposure to the direct consumer. So for me, I would say the main innovative aspect that I brought to the business was I started the concept of streaming stake online. So whether it was on any streaming platform, the question that I was looking to solve was, how can I get more and more people to actually look at this product? And I started partnering up with streamers to start playing on stake and showcase to their audience that this product exists.
Sure. And when you're talking about your background, I want to, obviously dive into everything with stake, but
Yeah.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves as well, right? When you were growing up, what was this the goal? Was CMO of a crypto casino the goal? Probably not, right?
Probably not. Now, the first goal was always, I wanted to be a cricketer. So I'm originally from India. And as you know, in India, cricket is a religion. And I was quite good at it as well. I unfortunately injured myself, so I couldn't really continue to play at a competitive level. And then that translated into the love of sport, right? And that's why I was like, okay, I can't be an athlete, but I want to be around sports.
Yes.
So then I did my MBA in sports management, and that's how slowly.
And what made you think that was the best move for the MBA in sport management?
Well, my main thing was that I wanted to make an impact in the world of sport,
Yeah.
right? So I wanted to do something innovative in sport, which later on it became me sponsoring, like the company sponsoring a bunch of different sports with innovative ideas. But at the time, I just wanted to be involved in a sport, if
Sure.
that makes sense.
Sure. And what did you learn from that? A lot of our listeners are in that, mid 20s, they're deciding whether to go back to school, or early 30s even, and getting your MBA, right? What did you learn from that experience in sport management that you transfer over to what you're doing today at Stake?
I think education is important. Like educating yourself is important, but I think it's not as important as going out in the real world and networking. Especially, again, I can speak to my industry. Nothing is more valuable than actually networking.
Sure.
Messaging someone and saying, hey, can I pick your brains over a coffee for 15 minutes? Is going to be way more valuable than a 20-day project that you might submit and never read again.
Yeah. And when you took Stakes marketing, right? You worked with Stake F1, UFC, Drake, right? Those are all brand awareness plays, right? How did you go about picking the right, you have there's the NFL, there's the NBA, there's unlimited, right, options.
Yeah.
What about those, or you could talk about individually some that really made it make sense for Stake?
So I can give you a small chronological order of, let's say, some big sponsorship moments.
Yeah, sure. What was the first one too, actually?
The first one was actually Adesanya. So he's a UFC champion.
Yeah.
Yes. So Israel Adesanya was our first one. And then that was just us testing waters into the world of sponsorship. We knew that UFC as a product has that audience, which is male-oriented, correct demographic. And at the time, we weren't at that stage where we would consider or think about anything bigger than sponsoring an athlete.
Yeah.
5 years ago, we thought, okay, it's time for us to try and get into the Premier League, because we want our brand to be global, right? We operate in more than 100 countries. We want our brand to be global. Premier League is global. Let's go get there. We went with Watford. Now, today, we're with Everton. 4 years ago, we had a laugh. Myself and the owners of the business, we had a laugh and we always talk about thinking big. That's one of our values, is in order to get somewhere, you must think big. So even if it's a joke, at that time we were joking. We were like, imagine if we get Drake on stake. It's never happened before. Like he's a global icon, and there is nobody that's doing that. And we had a laugh. We left it at that. But the wheels were in motion. We put it into existence. turns out that our product was good enough that Drake himself was a customer. And we didn't know that until we got a call. Well, Ed, who is the co-founder of the business, he actually is in the weeds of the business every single day. And he manages the VIP system as well. So a VIP messaged him saying, I want to get you on a call with someone you really want to speak to. And then he said, who is it? And he said, it's Drake. And we basically politely asked him to F off, because nobody is just calling Drake and FaceTiming him. But we took a punt. We got on the call and it was actually him. And we made it happen, right? 3 years ago, we're like, okay, we have this.
What did Drake really love about steak?
The product, and for him as well, the fact that you have this product where you're competing against your traditional land-based casinos, but the effort and the time and what it takes, as opposed to being in the comfort of your home and being able to do what you really like. He loved it, and he was a customer for a while.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Especially because I worked on the sports agency side prior as well, and like a lot of these athlete deals, like they don't even know, or like celebrity deals, they don't even know about the brand. They don't care. It's a cash grab and move on. Right?
Correct. So that's sorry to cut you off, but that's the most important part. The partnerships that we choose with influencers specifically, they must authentically be using the product.
Yeah.
Because if you are not a fan of the product, you are never going to be sell it right. Like, you're never going to sell it right. So and we have it.
And if somebody asks you about it in person, you'll be like, I don't know.
Exactly. Oh,
I need to copy the deal.
Exactly. I was paid to do this post, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And that's not the best fit.
Versus Drake, who can probably tell you everything.
He'll tell you everything. He'll probably tell you more than me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the biggest one was, how can we take this even further and take our brand to a global stage? Let's do something nobody has ever done. Let's do something that challenging the status quo really puts to life, which is getting an F1 deal. Everybody we spoke to.
What does that look like?
Yeah, so everybody we spoke to said it's impossible, basically. You're in the iGaming space, you're not going to be welcomed. There's only 10 legacy, 15 legacy brands that exist here, but we just weren't willing to take no for an answer. So we spoke to a few different teams and we found the right partner, and we were able to get the stake F1 team, right? And for us, a big thing is always in marketing being either you go big or you go home. So we're not an Apple.
Sure.
That you put a small logo somewhere and people know who you are.
Yeah.
Always make noise.
Yeah.
So it's about making noise.
Yeah, and you guys have done a great job making noise just from coming on my radar, and just like the brands you've aligned yourself with, right, are just ones that are just absolutely loved, and like, yeah, the jersey sponsors everywhere, right?
Yes.
What has been the most surprising thing that you've learned about having an F1 team? And how do you juice that from a marketing perspective, right? Because it's a little different than your normal, like, Everton sponsorship, right? That's been done before. This is one of a kind.
Correct. I think you choose that by the correct localization. So, as you know, F1, the race happens in more than 20 countries, right? For every product, a certain country, a certain geo is more important than the others. You identify which markets are important to you, and you create activations that will then cater to that audience. But another thing is always cross-collaboration between these sponsorships. So something that we do uniquely well is, let's say if it is the Grand Prix in the UK, we're going to get Everton involved, F1 involved, a UFC fighter that's based out of UK involved, and bring all three together into a stake activation.
Yeah.
Right? So that cross-collaboration of brand really takes it to the next level.
Absolutely. And, you were the first marketing hire at Stake. What's your marketing team look like now?
Now we're up to 60 people.
60?
Yes.
What do you look for in your marketing hires to bring on?
I think it's attitude. The work ethic that you bring to the office, right? I always say that a plan B with a team A will be more successful than a plan A with a team B.
Yeah.
So you can find gold in a mine if you have the right people around you. And even now at 60, if you look at the revenue per head that per se the marketing brings into the business, we would be one of the top brands in the world by far.
Yeah.
So it's people that want to get into like the thick of it.
And how do you lead 60 people? Because that's a good amount of folks.
Yes. It's important to have the correct managers. Delegation is important.
Yep.
but then we're very, very strict about not hiring just managers. There is nobody in the business that only manages people, which I know exists in a lot of different businesses. But for us, every manager, including myself, must be able to do what someone who just got hired to do, be a customer support agent or do. So the leadership style is hands off, but included in what everyone is doing. Like correct delegation, managing the right number of direct reports. So for example, myself, I have 9 direct reports, right? And I think anything above that starts to get
messy.
Quite messy.
Yeah.
But I think 6 to 8, I would say I'm trying to make it 8, but 6 to 8 is the sweet spot. You can go up to 9, 10 maybe if you can handle it.
And are you in office? Or are you guys all in office?
I go to the office 5 days a week.
Is the whole marketing team in office?
Yes, every single day.
Why? We speak on why that's important.
I think that's crucial. I think I couldn't emphasize that enough, because the conversations that you can have by just going over someone's desk, tapping them over the shoulder, discussing a quick idea, is so much more valuable than scheduling a meeting that at the very least will be 30 minutes. Could be an hour, and could end up not being productive at all.
Absolutely.
So I think some things can just be done within 5 minutes.
Sure.
And they don't need 30 to 1 minute. And just in marketing, having that direct communication, super important.
Absolutely. And Stink has grown exponentially in 4 years, right? What are the next 4 years or even year look like for you and your team?
We're going to keep sending it. That's what we say.
Sending it.
We're just starting.
Sending it.
We're just starting. So again, something we say internally, that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like, yes, we have seen success, but we need to keep our position as a market leader. But then emphasize and go into all these new markets that we haven't touched. So for us,
what's next market-wise?
Well, this year we acquired a few different licenses. Steak Brazil, Steak Peru, Steak Colombia, Steak Italy. We just announced the acquisition of a Denmark company as well. So we're looking into buying a lot more, going into a lot more markets. So that is challenging from a marketing perspective. Because of localization, but we want to compose.
When you see a new market, right? What is the first? I mean, obviously there's not a boilerplate for like Denmark or Italy, right? But what is this first step in just like associating in your first move in Italy or something like that, or a new market?
So in our situation, it's about leveraging our existing global brand. Because the way we have marketed, right, we've never gone and said steak.com. We've always presented Steak and its logo as a global entity. And then from there, you can branch out into these localized entities. So how do we take the existing now, again, F1, let's say Italy, we have 2 races that happen in Italy, right? Monza and Imola. How can we use that to make an impact in this localized market? That's how we think about it.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys have done some really incredible work, and I'm stoked to be sitting across from you here. We talked a ton about your career, right? But what about your personal life a little bit? I would love to know, like, what's the stuff that you love getting into, and what's something you're proud of?
The stuff, I absolutely love playing sports. So any time I can get. Anytime.
What sport if you had any?
Well, if I was fit enough, then I would say cricket. Right? That's always number one. But then any racket sport as well. We play, it's quite popular now in Europe as well, but we play a lot of paddle. Play a lot of paddle, a lot of tennis. I used to be pretty good. I used to be a pro in snooker as well. So snooker, I mean, any sport, I absolutely love. Any downtime I have, go towards like playing a sport. And something I'm proud of is I'm absolutely proud of the team at Easygo, like, and what we've built. The journey for us, for myself, from being an affiliate manager, the first person in marketing, to now a team of 16, having not just Steak but Kick, it's been incredible.
That's amazing, man. Well, it's been awesome just hearing about it. I could talk to you forever. We're going to wrap up here with Akhil in our quick question round presented by Open Fortune. First question, person you'd most want to sit down to dinner with, dead or alive?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Dead or alive? I'd say alive definitely has to be Musk. I just want to know what's going on in his brain. I want to literally understand that. Plus, how does he have time? Because I'm again facing something like that myself. How do you have time to effectively manage and scale these organizations.
Sure.
So for me, like what I've realized is having conversations with people that are in a similar spot as myself is a big learning. Like it's a big way to upskill myself. So that's definitely someone I'd love to sit down and have a chat with.
Absolutely. Favorite city in the world?
Favorite city in the world? Melbourne, by far.
Is it okay to sleep with socks on?
Absolutely not. I think it's a crime against humanity.
Hard no. I think it's okay. But I know I owe Carlos some money. Favorite rom-com?
Favorite rom-com? Oh, it's a Bollywood movie. Yeah, I would say favorite rom-com is a Bollywood movie called Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
Kuch Kuch Hotel? I gotta check it out.
Yeah.
In 40 years from now, what will people be nostalgic for?
In 40 years from now, what will be?
People be nostalgic for?
What will I be nostalgic for?
You or people?
Oh, I think people would be nostalgic for the childhood. I think playing in the park.
Yeah, I'm nostalgic right now.
I think playing in the park because I'm very lucky. I'm from a generation where my initial, let's say from the age of 5 to about 16, 17, I went out every single day and played with my friends, like played sports with my friends in the park. And then I hit the right side of technology.
Sure.
So I think that's something that's going to increase.
Yeah.
And people will be nostalgic for that.
I completely agree. Top 3 brands or CEOs right now?
Top 3 brands in any industry?
Yeah.
In any industry. I would say Ferrari, Audemars Piguet, Ferrari, Audemars Piguet, and Tesla.
Tesla. There you go. One thing people don't understand about your job is?
It's hectic.
Hectic. What's the worst piece of advice you've ever been given?
Or just get someone else to do it.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Take ownership.
Take ownership. I love that one. And in 10 years, where can we catch you?
Still running Steak Kick and hopefully
kicking it with steak.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Kicking it with steak.
There you go. Well, I appreciate you joining us, Akhil. That was awesome.
No problem. Thank you for having me.